Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Home Study. This is a podcast for parents, especially those who have children through or are exploring foster care or adoption. We're here to help you navigate the world beyond paperwork and placement. Thanks for being here. We're here with another episode, just Laura and me. We've got some things to chat about. Laura, happy day. Whatever,
Happy day.
happy
Yes.
whatever day.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Today, guys, we have a bit of a casual episode for you. We are just going to be chatting, just me and Abby, about what we wish we would have known before we adopted, which is also probably going to go like before I started foster care, right? Because
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
going to be some, yeah, like so. Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of tell you guys our thoughts on things that we wish we knew. Yeah, that's what we have for you.
Yeah. We were just talking before we started recording about allergies or colds or whatever is going through our home. So if you hear some sniffles, or as Judah likes to say, frogs in our throat, and just excuse those. We'll try to cover the mic, but it's bad.
We adopted that phrase, frog in the throat, because of you, because I thought that was
Really?
funny. And so and so my kids, like, yeah, they'll have like, stuff in their throat and, and so I told them that, and now they think it's hilarious. And I always think of you guys now,
Yeah.
and they're like, I have a frog in my throat, mom.
I know Judah, like I think this happened a couple mornings ago. He started coughing like right before I went in to, I turned his light green and I went in to get him in his room. And he opened the door. He said, "Mom, I had a frog in my throat and I got it out." Like I coughed it out. I was like, "Great,
Ooh,
bud. I'm glad."
good for
So
you.
glad you did that. Yeah,
That's funny.
I know. It's kind of a cute little
Well, if you're
saying.
not watching, they do have cute little sayings all the time.
Uh-huh.
If you're not watching on YouTube, I hope you see some sort of like Instagram reel or something because we've got some polar opposites going on right now. Abby looks super cute, you guys, in her. What did we decide? Is it
Sco-
Daphne or Wilma or both?
I'm a mix between Will. Is it Wilma? Velma?
It was
Wilma?
Velma? Maybe it's Velma. I said Wilma.
I think it's Velma. I don't know.
Daphne and
I just looked it up. I've got like a Scooby Doo look going on.
she's got a
So
Scooby Doo vibe, but like a cute one.
yeah, it's just like a little sweater dress, but it kind of looks like Velma.
I
I'm
think
gonna
you're
say
right, Velma. It's Velma.
because it's like this brown with like a neon. Even though Velma's, I think, is like red or orange. Mine's yellow.
Yeah.
But
Ooh,
then
you could wear that for a Halloween costume.
I actually thought about that. I know. I was like, that'd be so cute, like a family dress up
Yeah.
thing. Judah already has his costume picked out. He wants to be an astronaut because he's very into space and rockets and all the things. He wants to be a pilot one day. So he has his astronaut costume picked out. But maybe we could do like we've got multiple things like trunk or treat, Halloween, Boo at the Zoo, like
Mm,
different things. So maybe we'll dress up as Scooby Doo for
more
one
than
of
one thing.
those. Yeah,
If you do Boo
why
the
not?
Zoo, you should do Scooby Doo
Well, that would be
as a family
cute.
thing.
That'd be so cute.
Well, I am not looking so cute, but that's okay.
You
I'm
look so
just
cozy.
trying I'm radiating fall vibes,
Yeah.
guys. It's 80 degrees, but it's fall-ish. If you look out the window, it looks fall. So that's close enough for me.
Yeah. I know this last week we went to the beach. We live by the lake and we went to the beach and I was like, it feels like it should be fall, but it's still like summer weather. So we're kind of
It was
just
so hot.
we're embracing the summer as we round out September.
So,
Anywho,
Abby, why don't you tell us one of the things that you wish you knew before you adopted? And it could go either. It's kind of nice because we have like so many different experiences between like
I know.
embryo adoption, private adoption, foster care, and adoption. So
I know. I was like, as I was thinking through this, I was having kind of a hard time narrowing in on like what are the few things because I could probably go on for days and days. But I was thinking I might just focus it in on the adoption of the girls. So we adopted our twins. Actually, that's like part of this, what I wish I knew. Their adoption is not finalized yet. So we've had them for 7 months. They just turned 7 months. Um, so we adopted them through private domestic adoption, if you have not tuned in before. So I was kind of thinking I'd like focus in on their experience, but I don't know. Things might come up as we go through. But I think one of the things, very broadly, one of the things that people have said and people had told me, but I don't think I ever like truly experienced until really as all this is going down, is just how much waiting is involved and like the
Mm.
emotional toll that it can take on you as you are waiting for your profile book to be looked at, waiting for a call from the attorney, waiting for a call from birth mom, waiting for a contract, then waiting for their birth, like all of that time. I just look back at some of those days and think like I was in like a haze. Like just kind of this emotionally, it was like very unknown, just waiting, waiting, waiting. And now we're in a waiting phase again of waiting for their adoption to be
The
finalized.
finalization.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, I would agree. The waiting was definitely I mean, definitely challenging. And, it's so you said something and I'm like, "Yes, it's how I felt when I was trying to think through, things that I wish I knew." So many times I thought, "Well, I guess I did know this,
Yeah.
but I didn't really feel it."
Yeah, it's
Just like with the waiting. You're like, "I mean, I knew it would take a long time, but, like, I didn't really know it would take a long time."
right. And I think, I mean, that's kind of like the crux of our whole podcast of like, you probably, if you have adopted, like, you probably have learned about like trauma informed parenting. Like, you've heard the words, you've heard like, these are the things that could happen, like all the things we talk about. You've probably even like watched an informational video about it to like check something off on your home study, but you hadn't experienced it yet. So how can you really know it? So I think, yeah, that's like, as I was thinking through some of this, I was like, I mean, I knew this before, but I didn't know it, you know? So
Yeah. People told me this, but I still feel like I didn't know it.
cognitively, it was there, but experientially, it was nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the waiting is definitely yeah, especially, like, with foster care, the waiting for paperwork to go through, waiting for the call for the placement, waiting to for different, like, court
Yeah.
hearings and the
Mhm.
goal changes and there's so much waiting and it is, like I would add for me that I wish I understood. Maybe we should change this episode to what I
Mhm.
wish I understood before, foster care or before adoption. The, like, emotional, like, weightiness of wanting to be for the birth mom and reunification, but also feeling like it wasn't the best fit.
Hey, friends, if you've been enjoying Beyond the Home Study and want to help us keep these real, honest conversations going, we've got two simple ways you can support the show. First, you can subscribe to or follow the show and give us a 5-star review wherever you listen. Second, we just set up a Buy Me a Coffee page. It's a way to donate to our show and just a small way to say, hey, this matters. So if you would like to support the show, you can head to buymeacoffee.com/Beyond the Home Study, or simply click the link in our show notes. And please know that we're incredibly grateful.
So sometimes let me clarify this a little bit because sometimes people tell you that, like, "Oh, it'll be so hard because, like, you need to be for reunification, but you're gonna feel this bond." I feel like I was prepared for that. I don't feel like I was prepared for but, like, I'm supposed to be for reunification, but as I'm seeing things unfold, that actually doesn't feel safe. That doesn't feel like the best. Like, put aside my own feelings of course, I would love to care for this child forever, but putting that aside, I, like, genuinely don't think this is a safe situation long term, and yet I'm still supposed to be, like, for reunification, and you may argue, "Well, then you don't need to be for it," but, like, the court is telling me that I still need to be for it, so I do. That I wish I understood before.
Yeah, I mean, I think that leads into just a lot of things I wish I knew about our birth mom and what relationship with her could or may not look like. Um, yeah, just that's something that I've actually had other people reach out to me after even our birth mom episode that we did. We've done a couple. We talked a little bit. We've talked on a few episodes about birth moms, but I've had people reach out and they're like, "What do you what do you talk about? Like what was your experience like?" And I just tell them really honestly, like I I really didn't know what to expect. I wish I could have had someone to, like, bounce some ideas off of, like, do I text her? Do I call her? Like, as we're waiting, right? Like, as we're waiting for the twins to be born. Do I like, what do I say? How do I reach out? I don't wanna be nosy. I don't wanna be, like, controlling at all, but I don't know what to say. Like, what does that look like? And so, I wish that there's no way, but, like, I wish I could have experienced it first and then gotten to, like, kind of redo that with her. 'Cause I know a lot more now than I knew then.
The things we wish we knew or understood.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
is
tricky. And
tricky.
I mean, that's part of the I think that's, like, emotionally part of the exhaustion that you feel in the waiting too, of just the unknown and then not wanting to overstep, but also wanting to be open and kind and loving.
Yeah, like, we wanna support birth moms,
Mhm.
but only if the situation is good. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be, like, picture perfect, ideal white picket fence, but, like, safe and, a place where you're gonna thrive too,
Yeah.
like, not just survive. Yeah, that's hard when you're yeah, and you're right, like, it's not necessarily something that, like, we can say, like, "I wish I knew this," but, like, there's an aspect of which, like, you just can't.
Mhm. Yeah.
We're
And
gonna
every
totally have to
single
retitle this episode.
every single person's experience is gonna be so different too, like, we've had people on who they live in the same town as their birth mom. We have some people who don't speak the same language as their birth like, there's so many different things, so you really just don't know what to expect. I think maybe that's how to sum it up, is, like, you really don't know what to expect. You kinda have to be prepared for anything and everything without
Yeah,
being able to be prepared because you can't be prepared.
actually, right? Speaking of being prepared, here's one for you.
Yep.
People told me that with foster care, there was a lot of paperwork involved, to which my response was, "Great, that's fine. I'm very organized." I am. It's true. I wish I would have known the mental load that
Mhm.
doing all the paperwork caused. Or
Yeah.
yeah, I wish I would have understood that piece of it because I just kept thinking like, "No problem. I'm organized. I'm timely. I got this." And I was organized and timely, but it still was just like racking up in my brain, you know, trying to like keep track of like, okay, I currently I'm waiting on this or Greg needs to sign this or, whatever.
Yeah, and, like, even just knowing where to go to find the information that needs to be on the paperwork, all of that, like, you're having to, like, sort back through so much, from past
Mhm.
life and finding references and, all of those different things of it takes a lot of, like you said, mental load, just space in your brain that is really hard. And the paperwork doesn't really stop. I didn't know that. The paperwork doesn't really stop when you bring the children into your home. Like, there's still more to be done. And we had, I
Mhm.
remember we like walked in the door with the twins. So, they had been born 35-ish days before. We walk in the door, we get our mail, after being out of town and everything, and we have this big packet of information from the state of California, and it's like, "Please read this information and complete within 7 days of receiving and mail back to us." And I'm like, "I don't know when this arrived, like, probably at least a week ago, right? So we're already a week behind. So even that load of like,
Mhm.
there's like time bound, like a timeline on this. And I'm not sleeping. I'm barely eating. I don't know which way is up. I've got doctor's appointment, like, just all these things, and it's like,
Yep.
yeah, the paperwork doesn't stop.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
It's crazy.
Even after adoption, like,
Yeah.
Letty was adopted and then we had to still, like, file for, a new Social Security card. There's still just, like oh, I haven't done that actually. See, like, there's also, like, she had a name change, and now I'm, like, having to, like I'm like, "Oh, wait, we never got that changed on this thing," and, like yeah, and I mean, that
Yeah.
was a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff, it's like, it's crazy because it takes time and it takes organization, yes, but it is that mental load of just a lot going on. I don't
Mhm.
think that I knew, like, really legitimately don't think I knew, um, that the name that the girls were given by their birth mom would follow them for so long. So, like, we're 7 months out, right? And even now, like, every doctor's appointment I go to, every form I fill out has to be their, birth name because nothing is finalized yet, so it's, like, not officially changed over. And so it's like remembering, well, they're twins. So remembering who is who, remembering like the correct spelling, like all in, now 7 months in, like we're pretty fluent in it now, but at first I was like, hold on, let me remember what this is. I finally asked the doctor, can you put in their chart like this is what their name is going from this to this, like this is what it's going to be, just so that if I call her Lucy, like which one I'm talking about. And but still, it's like I second guess myself a lot when I'm figuring things out.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, especially with 2 of them,
Yeah, it's wild.
and try to keep that straight. Yeah. Ugh, things we wish we knew.
You know.
Yep.
Um, okay, so what about like some of the so that's kind of like a lot of emotional, mental load things. Like, what about like physically? Like, what were some of the things that you wish you would have known, whether it was, for you or for your daughter or people around?
Like, practically?
Yeah, maybe practically. That's a good
Okay.
word.
So, this seems kinda silly, and I'm hesitant to say this because this shouldn't be a reasoning for doing foster care, but something that I didn't know and would have been helpful to know, and this may not apply to you, I don't know what state you're listening to this and your situation, but we get a subsidy, like, we get paid every month even though she's been adopted. And I didn't know that. I knew we would get, like, a subsidy while she was in foster care, like, we were aware of that, but for whatever reason, like, the information that we got with foster care was always, like, all over the place, and depending on who you talk to, it would be a little bit different, and so we never knew factually anything, like, for real, but yeah, we do still it's a different amount, it's actually more.
Wow, interesting.
Not a lot more, but a little more, and so we get every month, we get, like, a very good chunk of change for having adopted and she was an infant, so, like, that was some of the stuff we thought, like, "Oh, it's only for older kids or if it's only if they're in high school," like anyway, but no, we do. I wish I would've known that because that actually would've just been helpful information.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember when because we went to 1 or 2 informational meetings on foster care, and I remember there being a list of, like, certain stipulations, if you will,
Mhm.
of children, and I think it was children who were under the age of 2 when they were adopted. If they fell into any of these categories and they were under 2, it will continue after adoption. I think I remember something like that, but again, like, even that, because it's not set in stone for a lifetime, like, those things can change month by month, year by year, probably, like, depending on legislation and things, so, yeah, it's kind of
And that's
wild.
probably why they never, like we never got, like, that confirmation, but,
Yeah.
like and not that it would've like, it doesn't change anything, but, like, in terms of us wanting to adopt her or anything like that, that has no impact at all, but it does impact, like if we were to able to take another placement or something like that, because I mean, you have to, like, consider the finances. It's expensive to have a child, and
Yeah.
especially if you have children in therapy or have extra needs, like, it's nice to know, like, "Oh, okay, I have this, like, if I need to pay for XYZ." So,
Yep. Yeah,
wish I
and
would have known.
it's interesting on the adoption side, and I don't think that this I could be wrong. I don't think that this applies to children who are adopted through foster care, but at least in the state of Ohio, and I think there's a federal qualifier to this too, but you receive, like, an adoption tax credit the year
Mhm.
after your adoption is finalized. So, honestly, one of the reasons when we saw the twins come through, like, our listserv as we were looking, waiting on what birth moms we would get in contact with and what placements we could consider and things, we saw the twins' information come through, and one of the things that was called out in the email was, "You will be eligible for 2 adoption tax credits because there are 2 it's 1 per child." And so that actually helped us as we were thinking through, like, the financial side of the adoption. And so that was 1 year ago, actually. This is kind of like a cool week for our family because 1 year ago this week is when we got the call about the girls. So that was in 2024 that we, like, read all of that and, like, we're thinking through everything. Obviously, we invested and, like, paid and we fundraised and everything like that. We're in 2025, and hopefully the girls' adoption will be finalized in 2025, but we won't even be able to look at or consider that credit until 2026.
Mm,
So, that's something interesting that, like, again, one of those things, like, I read it somewhere, but in my mind, I thought, like, if the girls are born in February or March, we put them on our tax information for that year, like, boom, boom, boom. It just, like,
right.
goes quickly. Um, but no, it's, like, quite a ways to still wait. So, it's interesting.
We would have gotten that. Or is that
I k
only domestic?
I don't know. I kind of feel like I think it's domestic and international for sure because I know of cases of both of those, but I kind of feel like foster care does not fall into that. I'm gonna look it up.
I feel like it surely it doesn't, because we would have heard about it, and I've heard nothing about that.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm gonna look and
I
see
don't
because
know.
you probably got a child tax credit because you claim the number of children
Right.
in your home.
Yeah, but we've been claiming her. In foster care, you can claim them once they've been in their home X amount of days. It's like
Okay.
60 days or 90 days or something. So we've been claiming her the
Oh.
whole time.
Yeah, wow. Maybe we need to have a CPA come on our podcast. We'll ask them all these
We need a
questions.
lawyer, a CPA.
Yeah.
Actually, if you are a lawyer listening to this,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are looking to interview a lawyer about just legality with adoption and things like that. So if you are and you want to be interviewed, send us a message. Little
Yes,
plug there.
I think that would be so neat to get to talk to someone, even, you know, people I see online talk about, like, the ethics of the contracts and, like,
Hmm.
how to make sure you're serving both birth moms and the adoptive parents well and all of that. So, that would be a really cool conversation. So, if you're out there,
I would
let us know. Yeah.
send us a message.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
let's
see.
just do like one or two more.
Yeah.
Do you have like a really good, yeah, what you wish
Um,
you knew?
okay, this is kind of a random one, but, I didn't really think about how I needed to have my, like, elevator speech crafted and ready. So, like, when you're so here's my example, is we'd only been home with the girls I don't know, maybe a month or so. And we were out at a yard sale. I'm pushing them through in their stroller, and this lady's talking to me, and she's a twin, so she's like asking me a lot of questions about twins, like, and like, do they run in your family? Does it come from your husband's side of the family? Just like, because she's a twin, she wants to know, and she knows all of these different facts and things about twins. And so rather than stumbling through it, like, I was glad I'd kind of thought through how do I have a conversation with someone and share with them how they are adopted without sharing, a crazy amount of information about their story? Because I think it can be our tendency, at least it can be mine, to like overshare in those moments because she's kind of
Same.
oversharing with me. Like she's telling me a lot about her life. Um, so just like, yeah, having something like really simple, prepared to say, and like it's going to be clunky at first, but over time you kind of finesse it as it goes. But my father-in-law was standing next to me as I'm having this conversation, and we walked away, and he was like, "Huh, I always kind of wondered like how you would answer those questions." And so it was kind of cool that he like got to hear that a little bit, because it just it can catch you off guard, as people are
Yeah.
oversharing or sharing a lot and then asking you questions. So yeah, I didn't really think through that before, but I was glad in that moment I felt somewhat prepared.
It is nice to, like, yeah, have an elevator speech just, like, prepared for those moments. That's a good idea. I don't think
Yeah.
we have one of those. I should do that. Um, yeah. Hmm.
What do you
All
have
those
as
little
kind of
things.
like a it doesn't have to be the final one, but maybe like something kind of random that doesn't fall into one of our categories we already had?
Random. I think this, like, really only applies to, like, my unique situation. I mean, I'm sure other people have the same one, but, like, if you are doing foster care, or even if you're adopting as your first child, but it's not necessarily because of infertility, I wish I would have known or understood or really thought more about what that meant for if I then got pregnant. Because my pregnancy was so different because, like, technically my son is firstborn, you know, and technically my daughter is actually, like, lastborn, she's the 4th. But in my family dynamics, they're swapped, right? Like, she's actually the oldest in our family and my biological son is the youngest, but also, like, I was pregnant, but I already had a child, and so it was my first pregnancy, but it felt like I would imagine what it would feel like to have your second pregnancy. So there was a little bit of like, oh man, like most women, their very first pregnancy, they get to soak in the like, oh, I'm morning sick. I'm just going to take a nap or, like whatever and all of that, but, like, I had a very, very young child that I was chasing around,
Yeah.
and caring for, and it kinda took away a little bit of the magic of being pregnant, I think, because I didn't have time to, like, think about this baby in my belly because I'm caring for a baby. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. I think that's such a it's such an interesting perspective, and also the part that I'm, like, kind of stuck on is, like, the birth order thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
I wonder how that impacts where like, obviously, in your family, it's going to be, like, LJ is going to kind of fall into that oldest sibling role and probably have some of those tendencies, like, as she continues to
Right,
grow
right.
older, and then Des as the younger, but I wonder, like, what that really is like in their, like, makeup.
Right? Isn't that crazy? And we
Yeah.
always and, like, Greg and I were just saying the other day as their, like, personalities have really started to, like, blossom. I'm like, "Man, I'm so glad that Dez is not a firstborn." Well, like, the oldest, I should say. I'm glad
Yeah.
that he's not the oldest because, um, his personality is pretty strong-willed, and it's really nice that he has an older sibling because she kind of, like and she's very gentle, and so they, like, even each other out really well.
So cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah, things I couldn't have known, but I think I wish I would have, like, at least considered that or thought about that.
Yeah, I it's interesting. I've never really, like I've never heard someone, like, kinda process through that of, like, kind of taking a little bit of that magic away from your pregnancy too, and thinking of, like, all the first of, like, your first baby shower, your first doctor's appointment, your first time you hear heart like, all those different things, I don't know, it's just yeah, you've got, like, a toddler running or not even a toddler, you've got another baby, like, rolling around as you're going through all of those things.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So all the doctor's appointments, I'm carrying, like, a very small child with me.
You're getting the
I know, it's
craziest
kinda
looks.
crazy. Ugh, I definitely got the craziest looks. Um,
Yeah.
Even, like, we went to a first birthday party for actually 2 of Greg's coworkers recently, and they did the very traditional, like, this is their only child, I mean, so far, they're only 1, and, it's, like, the big party and all of this, and I'm like, "We didn't do that because LJ wasn't adopted yet at her first birthday, and I mean, yes, we could have done a big party. It didn't matter that she wasn't adopted yet, but also I mean, the biggest reason we didn't do that for her is because of her personality and her sensory needs and her emotional needs. That would have been terrible. And so I was like, we are not doing that. She would hate that. And then when Dez's first birthday rolled around, like, Dez just turned 1, so that means LJ had just turned 2. And honestly, we almost forgot about his birthday. He got like a cupcake. LJ got like
Oh,
a smash cake at least, like,
yeah.
and like I at least had her in a cute outfit that I had like made her and like the banner at least. Like she at least got that. We just didn't have a big party. Des got like nothing.
Oh,
My bad. Sorry, bro.
maybe his 5th birthday or something will just be, like, a massive blowout. No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean it's fine, like
Yeah,
whatever. But
you
yeah,
don't
just the little
have
things you don't
to.
think about.
Yeah,
You don't.
that is a really interesting thing. I don't know if we've talked about that with anyone else of, like, how you celebrate birthdays for your kids who are in foster care. That'd be kind of an interesting thing to, like,
Well,
get
you have
different
to be
people's take
careful
on
because
it.
of like, yeah, we should. That's a whole yeah, I could talk about that. But anyway.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, kind of summing all of this up, um, there are definitely things that are, like, unexpected and you're like, "Ooh, I, like, regret," like or not even regret, but just like, "Oh, I wish I could have done that differently," or whatever based on the things I knew. But I think, as I was kind of reflecting on this, I was thinking about, like, I didn't know how incredible adoption would be for our family. I'm gonna get emotional.
No.
Like, this is a special week for us because 2 years ago, we transferred 2 embryos that didn't stick, and a year almost to the day is when we got the call about the girls. And, my doctor, when we transferred the 2 embryos, was like, "You're gonna have twins." Like, she was basically obviously not guaranteeing it because she can't guarantee it, but she was like, "It just looks so positive, like, everything's looking so good," and it didn't work, and we were, like, devastated, just that was not at all what we thought was going to happen. And then a year later, we get the call about the twins, and now 7 months later, like, they're in our home, and it's incredible. And so, yeah, I just had no idea how amazing it really could be, and just the gift that yeah, the incredible gift I have to be their mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adoption really is it is one of those things, like, people can say, like, "Oh, it's beautiful," like, it comes from heartbreak, but it is beautiful, but you can't, like, fully understand it until it's your reality,
yeah,
when you're like, "Wow," like, "I really do love this child just like I would a biological child," and it's really cool yeah, and the way
yeah,
that,
and
like, God works in our families.
absolutely, and, like, I'd heard people say, "Be prepared, adoption does not heal infertility," and, like, I don't believe it does. So, hear me say that, like, I don't I don't believe it does if that's your situation. At the same time, it gives you this incredible gift of being a mom that you wouldn't have otherwise. I wouldn't have otherwise. So,
Well, and you're, like, caring for someone who needed a home, like, there's 2 people well, there's more than 2 people, there's also the birth mom, but yeah, but, like, you're also well, and in some ways you're caring for her too,
yeah,
for many of our birth moms, like, they can't if they are this isn't the all the situations, but for many of the birth moms, they're not able to care for the child, and they can't care for themselves if they were caring for the child in that moment. Um,
Right.
and so obviously, like, there are lots of stories where that's not the case. But, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Sorry.
Wish I knew. I wish I understood, maybe, should we say? I wish I understood the impact adoption really would have
Yeah.
on my family.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
for
good.
sure.
Well,
Well,
guys, we will leave you with a teary slash cheerful and encouraging goodbye. And if you guys have stuff to share, if you have something that you wish you knew, please send it to us. We love to hear from you guys, whether it's on social media. You can go to our Instagram at Beyond the Home Study, or email at yourhomenetwork@gmail.com. Send us what you wish you would have known. And as always, if anything we said today made you laugh, cry, or feel seen, please share it with a friend. We'll see you guys again next week.